Another risk is buying a lemon. That's directly related to due diligence. If you haven't done the due diligence correctly, you may end up with a lemon. So you got to be aware of that. So anytime you want to cut corners in this, in short term, you could be lucky because you found the right deal, you found the right market conditions, and but if you want to be in this industry over a longer period of time and make sure that you can replicate your success over and over again, you got to have a system behind you, and you got to have a method of working and a method of due diligence, a method of making sure that you've identified all these risks, you're making sure that you've got a plan for all of them. So construction risk, this is the tripartite agreement that I was talking about between the bank, the borrower, and the building contractor in case the builder goes bust. And the project failure, an inability to sell, wrong product fit, numbers don't stack, or incorrect marketing. Believe it or not, incorrect marketing is also a very major risk. So let's look at what are the ways that you can use to actually measure this risk. So let's look at this probability, the likelihood of that event occurring. So every risk that we've identified over here, you try and identify their probability of occurrence. You make sure that if market was to take a dive, what would happen to us, and then you build scenarios on it. Now, for smaller projects, you don't have to go into that much detail, but for bigger projects, all these things have to be done. And you say, okay, the probability of occurrence is 0.25, and the impact on outcome could be 50%, 75%, and so on. Or you can measure the risk by plotting everything into this this grid, which talks about the probability, and then you put that in there. And in order to do that, you either need expert intuition, expert audit, or gut feeling, or a stratification method, which is graphic representation of everything. So pick up your risk and start putting them in these grids, in these boxes, depending upon their possibility of occurrence and the and the risk they impose. Manage information and uncertainty. That's what you got to manage. So start with little research, rely on rules of thumbs. You actually doing this course and investing in this course, your time, your energy, is actually kind of risk mitigation, because you are serious about making money, you are serious about property development, and so you are investing this time and effort and resources into this course, so you can mitigate the risk. You know, so that you know more before you actually get into a deal. Second, initial research, simple inquiries at small costs, detailed research, input from consultants, and on completion, all information would be clear for sure. Action strategies. Avoid, do not enter into the, so you got to remember ARTR. I call it ARTR. Avoid, reduce, transfer, or retain. So either avoid getting into such deal, or getting into a situation where you got to make that decision. So make sure you avoid that altogether. It's like picking up a site with contamination on it. Yes, a very good potential, and chances are that it'll come up, but I'll just avoid that because I don't want to go that way. Reduce, lessen uncertainty, take steps to minimize the consequences, transfer, pass the responsibility to another party. So if you've got bigger consultants over there, make sure that they've got professional indemnity, or it is also doing a joint venture with somebody else, so that you don't expose yourself 100% for a deal. So that risk is actually divided between the two of you. So that's one. And the second and the last one is retain. If you think you're gonna go ahead with this, you identified all the risk, and you are confident or comfortable with them, you say, okay, I'm going to take that in stride, and I'm going to retain it, and I'm going to go ahead knowing that this is one of those risks. Property development strategies, you should allow for when you are doing that, when you're doing your financial feasibility or your due diligence. These are the things in property development that we do to make sure that we mitigate or spread our risk, so that it's not one project is actually can pull you down, so to speak. So allow for contingencies, do your due diligence, don't carry all your eggs in one basket. Ownership liability, there could be somebody else could be the owner, but the other one could be a shareholder, someone else could be director, or you could be shareholder, depending upon what you can actually negotiate with them. Limit financial liability, again, have a JV partner with you, and both of you, or all three of you, or four of you can actually put in the same amount of money in a deal, and that way you can limit your financial liability. Run sensitivity analysis. I've got a copy of my financial feasibility software that you'll get with this course. What you can do in that is you save a copy of your project, call it version A, B, C, D, E, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you increase the interest rate on another copy, and then you increase the cost of construction on another copy, just to make sure that what is the profit that comes out towards the end. And that's making sure that if in future, if or while doing the project, the interest rates go up, or the cost of construction goes up, or your for example, your end value that you've actually used in financial feasibility goes down, so what does it look like? So that's called a sensitivity analysis. Transfer pass to client, contractor, or other stakeholders. That's what we do. If you hire a builder, then the job of building is actually his risk or her risk to do the building. It's not your responsibility then. Operations, refine, change, or improve the internal systems of your project to minimize risk. Doing this course is minimizing risk because you're actually going to follow a system. Ensure another form of transference, but with clearly defined limits and prices. Retain last option when all else fails. Need to be priced correctly. When you say retain, if you can't get rid of any a risk, you got to retain it, but you make sure that you know the pros and cons of doing that. Get educated, which you already are. As I said earlier, doing this course is about you trying to mitigate risk because you want to do it the right way. So that's our module on risk management. I'll see you in the next video.